welcome back to the Elyse DeLucci Show. I am Elyse, and we're in my apartment on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Episode 38. We're just going through milestones here. When do I do season 2? I'm still on season 1. I have no idea about none of this stuff. Okay, I think I'll do episode 40 should start season 2. I think I'm going to do that. Anywho, how are ya? Let me tell you what we're talking about today. I went to see my grandmother in Brooklyn, my 90-year-old grandmother, Nani. We're talking about that. Vintage charms, the best $5 powder I found on Amazon. Take a sip of your latte and stay tuned and talk to me. So, fact of the day. It's a girl fact, kind of. It's okay. Brace yourself, Mom, if you're listening. A woman's clitoris grows throughout her lifetime. Basically, this means that a woman in her 40s and her 50s, this is scientific, has stronger orgasms than they did when they were younger, in their 20s and their 30s. So, there you have it, baby. There you have it. Just another thing that makes me excited about getting older. See, with guys, their ears never stop growing. With women, it's our clitoris. There you have it. Anywho, how was your week? How was it? I'm still putting myself back together from my trip. It was great. My legs are a little sore. This is what happens when you do hiking, when you haven't done anything during a pandemic. I made a delicious chicken. Oh my God, I got to tell you about this. And like I said, I went to see my grandmother. She gave me some crazy advice about dating. But let me tell you about this chicken. I can't get it out of my head. Okay. Did you ever make coq au vin? It's a French. Julia Child made it a lot. It's like you make it in a Dutch oven, and a braised chicken in red wine. Well, they also have coq blanc, which is making the same thing in white wine. Well, anyway, so I had chicken breast defrosted from the freezer, and I was like, I had everything for that kind of dish, and I wanted something like warm and make it in the Dutch oven. I had the time. But I wanted but I also was like, I really kind of want something Asian-y. I wanted like Chinese. So I decided I'm just going to do a kind of blend thing and of whatever, the Asian coq blanc, right? Let me tell you something. This was delicious. So let me tell you what I did. And this is not any specific recipe like I have written down, right? This is what I did. I took my Dutch oven. I drizzled some olive oil, got it hot. I browned the chicken, the chicken breast, a few minutes each side until they were brown. After they were, I put them in a separate plate, took them out, put them in a plate. I deglazed the Dutch oven with some white wine, maybe like a quarter cup, and then I put into the pan about one and a half cups of an onion chopped. It was one big Vidalia onion. I chopped it really small. I cooked it down until it was soft, translucent. Then I put in about 6 or 7 or so carrots. I had coined them, made them into coins, put them in the pot, cooked it, mixed it all up with the onions that were cooked, mixed it up, cooked it for about a minute, put some salt and pepper. I put the chicken back in the pot. I put 1 cup of chicken broth, and then I put 1 cup of chopped apricots. I know, random, chopped apricots into the pot. And then I put this sauce that I made also. And I covered the pot and I cooked it. Let me tell you what I did the sauce. This is the sauce. It was like an Asian sauce. I did a half a cup of soy sauce, a couple tablespoons of brown sugar, a quarter cup of mirin, which is Japanese rice vinegar. If you don't have it, who cares? And then about a tablespoon of chopped ginger. Also, if you don't have the ginger, who cares? But basically, it was half a cup of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, the quarter cup of mirin, and the 1 tablespoon of chopped ginger, fresh ginger. And I mixed that up in a little bowl. I poured that into the chicken, right? I poured that in over the chicken with the 1 cup of chicken broth, with that cup of chopped apricots. I put the cover of the Dutch oven on. I brought it to a boil. And then once it was boiling, I took it down to like about medium low, and I cooked it for an hour. Let me tell you something. I served it over rice, by the way. This chicken was banging. I'm not even kidding you. It was so good. It was like a braised chicken breast, but and it was cooked nice. It had a lot of flavor, but with this caramelly sauce, this caramelized sauce, Asian sauce. with the apricots. It literally was an apricot-like chicken. Oh my God, I totally forgot what I did. I totally forgot the most important part. In the sauce, I put 1 cup of peach jam, apricot jam. That's what I did. I'm so sorry. That's terrible. I didn't say that when I was telling you. But I put the 1 cup of peach jam. So in the sauce was a half a cup of soy, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, a 1/4 cup of mirin, a tablespoon of chopped ginger, and 1 cup of apricot jam. The chicken was like an apricot chicken. That's what it was, like an Asian apricot chicken. It was so good. It was so good. I served it over rice. My kids loved it. The dog loved it. It was like really so good. And I didn't give the dog with the onions. I know dogs can't eat onions. I rinsed it off. But it was so good. And I just served it over plain white rice. Just plain white rice. With the carrots. Anyway. So, I went to my grandmother's house. She's 90 years old. She lives in Bay Ridge, okay? She's so funny. I visit her. I used to visit her more. I need to up the visits, because she's getting older and, she can't drive anymore and the whole thing. I didn't get to see her for Christmas because of COVID, and she was at my aunt's house up in Connecticut. So I wanted to bring the kids there, have a visit with their great-grandma. I mean, that's so nice. Give her present present. I got her. I posted on TikTok. Oh, my God. Ortholux. It's a cane. It's a glamorous cane. It was a red jewel-encrusted cane. Can you imagine? Oh, it was so great. She loved it. She absolutely loved it. I showed up with the box with the kids. Well, I had the kids carry the box. Big cane box. Big, beautiful black box in a nice font. It says Ortholux in the top. I put a big bow on it. She opened it up. You open up the box, and it says black satiny sort of, I don't know, inside. It looked like a fancy sort of, it just looks like fancy shit. It looks like a fancy box with a fancy area wrapped in black satin where the cane goes. And the cane is delish. A beautiful red lacquered wood cane with jewels all down the thing of the cane. She loved it. She was so cute, my grandmother. She was like, oh my God, if this not fabulous, I should take this on the stage. I'm like, what stage are you going on? Last time I checked, I'm the only one in the family that does the stage. But you know what? This cane deserves the stage. She's like, I love it. I'm going to take it to AC. I'm going to do the gambling. I'm going to love it. She likes to sit at the slots, And it was great. Oh, my God. I want to say, I'm so happy I got this thing because I was going back and forth between a foldable aluminum cane and like a glamorous house cane. I'm glad I got this one. It's the same thing like what shopping for boyfriends and husbands and whatnot. Like, where do you get these people? They have everything. The aluminum canes, I mean, can you imagine? I can't even imagine this. I'm literally talking. We're talking about canes right now. I mean, who are we? Really, you and me? Yes, you who's listening. Well, we're talking about canes. But the thing is that as you get older, they need these people. They need their canes. You're not gonna carry a cane to the mall. It's good. They have these collapsible, foldable, aluminum, lightweight canes. I was gonna get one of those, but then I thought, why not get something glamorous for the boudoir? You know what I'm saying? It was a fortune, this thing. This thing was $100. I was like, what? But totally worth it. Totally hit. But she's so funny. So, I'm at the house with the girls and excuse me. And we're doing the present thing and the kids the kids were like after dinner. Let me say, first of all, I said, let's order pizza. Like, I'll pick up L&B Spumoni Gardens a pizza, come to your house, or we'll order pizza. We'll order Chinese. That's what we'll do. The day of, which I knew, she called me, no, I'm going to cook. What are you cooking? I don't need your 90 years old. No. I'm going to make meatballs and pasta fazool. All right. Let me tell you something, okay? My grandmother makes delicious pasta fazool. She's been making my whole life, and I love it. That's Italian macaroni dish with the cannellini beans. Everyone's family does it different, but that's how she makes it. But the last time she made dinner, okay, and I ate over, which was like over a year ago now, maybe even 2 years ago, because I do not want to eat dinner at our house. I'll visit. I love to see her. I don't want to eat dinner. The last time I found hair. Hair in the food. I mean, because she's 90. And that's what happens when you get old. Your hair falls out. And there I am, twirling around the fork, picking up a piece of macaroni, and what do I'm twirling it. If you saw me right now, I'm twirling the fork, and up comes a grandma hair. I can't. I'm gagging. I was gagging. I had to call the whole thing off. I didn't want to make her feel bad. I had to pretend to eat. I got to hide in a napkin. I felt like it was 7 all over again. When she told me she was cooking, I was like, oh my God, here we go. Thank God my aunt also showed up and had a pizza. The girls were like, Mommy, what is this? I don't want that. I want pizza. And I was like, yeah, no, I know. Thank God for the pizza. Thank God. That's all I could say. But they're cute, my kids. They're like, they can't process. They couldn't process why Nani doesn't have Netflix, Mom, she doesn't have Netflix. Well, sorry, excuse me. Mommy, she doesn't have Netflix? No. What about Amazon? No. She has Disney Plus? No. I'm sorry. It's a regular TV. Mommy, what is regular TV? It's like they don't even know. Mommy, does she have the computer? Does she have an iPad? No iPad here. No Wi-Fi. Nani doesn't even have a smartphone. But anyway, we found something on the Cartoon Channel. And that was that. But then we go into the kitchen, me and my grandmother. So the kids, they're on the living room floor, laying on the floor, watching TV, which is adorable. And me and my grandmother, we go in the kitchen. My aunt leaves, and we're going. It's like I'm sitting down having a conference with the boss, okay? We're talking about dating. You know what she tells me? So me and my sisters, we're all single. And she's basically saying to me crazy things, like a crazy funny thing. She's like, she calls me Ellie-Ann, because my middle name is Ann. Ellie-Ann. Let me tell you something. I know you have a boyfriend. I know you're happy. And it's nice. You should have lots of boyfriends. And I'm like, all right, Nani, it's fine. Let's just stop. Don't worry. Ellie-Ann, I want to tell you something. She goes, you don't need a man. Why do you need a man? Elyse, you don't need to be tethered down to any man, tied down. You don't got to answer him. You don't need him. You don't need anyone's bullshit. I said to her, I'm happy. Who cares? And this is the funny thing, right? This is the funny thing about old people. They love to just tell you advice. I like it, though. When I was a young girl, when I was in my teens, I was maybe 14, 15, my mother made me volunteer at a nursing home. I hated her for it. I was like, no, I do not want to spend my weekends with Yetta and Ida in the nursing home. Thank you, Mom. But you know what? It wound up being one of the best experiences that I can remember I had, because I learned so much from these old people. They really have a lot of things to say. And my grandmother was basically telling me when I was at her house, like typical stuff from somebody that was born in 1930, like Elyse. Like when I was young, I had to have a husband. I had a job, but then I got married, and then I didn't work, and I had kids, and that was my job. My job was to stay home. She's like, and I don't regret my life. I don't regret anything. I had a beautiful family. I made a beautiful family, a beautiful life. She said, but if I were you, and I had my kids, and I got divorced, and I was able to support myself, I wouldn't want a man. I don't need a man. I would not want to be tied down to no man, and you shouldn't either. And I mean, it's just hilarious. She said, and growing up, well, I should say in my 20s, she would tell me, she'd say if she was to do it all over, because she hasn't said this in a while, but if she could do it all over, she would have been Barbara Walters. I mean, is that not like hilarious? And I'm like, that's definitely a good goal. I like that. I could do that. And then, but she used to tell me she wants me, I should work at the telephone company or the bank. And it's like what do you mean first of all, I was 25. What telephone company? She's like Bell Atlantic, 9X. What, these companies, these are the New York telephone companies, by the way, from 1,000 years ago. What do you mean? She talks about someone in the family that got a job at a telephone company, and they, worked their way up the ranks and had stock, or whatever the hell she's talking about. Let me tell you something, okay? I don't know. She wanted me to work at a big company, a bank, telephone company, make the money, make it on my own, because and I get it. She was very motherly. She wanted to see me have the job, a good job, build whatever I could build, save, and be able to be completely self-sufficient. And I have, and I am very grateful for that. But I said to her, just because I now, fast forward all these years, I said, so I have the job, I have my kids, am I working at the telephone company? No. I said, but just because you have a career doesn't mean you're good, you're good single. I said, it's nice to have a man. It's nice to have a man to do things with, And she's like, Ellie-Ann, you have a good head on your shoulders, a good career, a beautiful family, the kids, your ex-husband doesn't give you any troubles. She said, just have fun, just go. And you know what? Listen, there's definitely something to be said about that. I've had fun being single. And I still consider myself single. Last time I checked, I don't have a ring. Thank you. If you would like to give me a giant diamond, I will maybe think about the proposal. Okay. I actually don't need a diamond, by the way. I think I'm into like some of these alternative, stones. We talked about that a few episodes ago. Anywho, but it's like I said to her, what about a man helping you with things around the house? What about someone to have, sexual escapades with? And yes, we do talk about that. But I talk about that with my grandmother. Why wouldn't I? She doesn't. She loves to hear about that kind of stuff. I don't tell her the details because that's a little TMI, But so this is what she says. I'm telling you the story to get to this one line that she says. I thought it was like, she says, Eliane, listen to me. She goes, you don't need a man during the week. All you need is a weekend warrior. I'm like, a what? A what? A weekend warrior, Eliane. A weekend warrior. That's somebody that comes around on the weekend and takes you out and will swoop in and help you with the man stuff around the house. That's what you want. A weekend warrior. I gotta say, I really admire this woman because she is well ahead of her time. I mean, really. But I think I have a weekend warrior, but I also have a weekday warrior too. I don't really know. What about me being the warrior? There's all kinds of conflicting thoughts here, but I think it's refreshing, and this is my point. I think it's refreshing. It makes me laugh, but I think it's refreshing because so many of my friends who I adore, and I love all their families, their families, it's all about you get married and you have the babies and you find the house and you settle down in the cul-de-sac and and you live next door to this one and that one. And I love all that stuff. And that to me is really beautiful. But then I got this broad of a grandmother that has purple hair, draws her lip liner outside her lips. She's always dressed in leopard and hot red everything. And she's talking about you don't need no man, you need a weekend warrior. I mean, you can't make it up. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. My daughters, they're going through all of her stuff, and she's like, "You want that?" Because she's 90, she's giving shit away. Like I needed a cake knife because it broke, and I said, "Nana, you have a cake knife for me? I need a cake knife. Anything is fine, plastic, whatever you have." She's like, "Yeah, I think I got one in the drawer. It's tarnished. It's literally from it looks like it's from the Depression. It's all hideous." But she gave it to me, and I'll clean it up, and it's good. And my girls, they were going in her bedroom looking at all her costume jewelry, and this made me think about vintage charms. And then let me tell you, I posted this picture. I don't know if it was on Instagram or TikTok, but I was wearing a necklace, and it was this vintage charm necklace. Do you know about these vintage charms? Well, this woman, I can't remember her name, maybe Josephine, commenter. Hi, if you're listening. Hi, Josephine. She said to me, "Oh my God, I love that necklace. Where'd you get that?" And I wrote, of course, I wrote back and I said, this charm, this vintage charm, it was given to me by my mother when I had my first daughter, and then my grandmother gave it to my mom when she had me. I'm the oldest. And the woman, and the woman was telling me how her mother-in-law has a lot of these vintage charms, and she collects them, but she's an outlaw, which I thought was so funny. She goes, my mother-in-law has all these charms. She's probably going to give them to the kids, her daughters and sons, whatever, but I'm the outlaw, so I'm not going to get one, which I thought was hilarious. But let me tell you, these vintage charms, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. They are like the size of a quarter. They're like the size of a quarter, and they're gold. They're gold discs. And basically, they're these gold discs, and women used to wear them on a bracelet, or as a pendant on a necklace. And the charms symbolized, they had a million things on the charms. If you look up 1950s, 1960s gold charms, you'll see them. These discharge charms, they were big, they were chunky. Mid-20th century, they basically had good luck symbols on them, and women would, or hearts, or baby carriages, or palm trees, or shoes, or little sayings and flowers. Basically, a man would give a woman one of these charms, or she would get it herself, for any conceivable holiday or celebration or event. You want to commemorate an event, your baby's getting baptized, you get a charm. You going on your honeymoon, you get a charm. So my charm that I have, that my mom gave me, that her mother gave her and was passed down, is a baby carriage. So it's a yellow gold charm, round charm, and it has a baby carriage, and I think it has some semi-precious stones on it or whatnot. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I wear it a lot, and I love it. And basically these charms in this time, in period, in the the 50s and the 60s, the mid-20th century, it was just these charms. They commemorated all of life's small occasions, big significant moments, whatever. And so I have been looking. So this girl who writes to me, Josephine, I think that's her name. She's like, where did you get it? And so I told her, but I want to know where I can get them. Do you know? So I have looked, by the way. So if you know, write to me. But I saw some. You can look on eBay. There's also a couple other websites. I don't know if you know, invaluable.com. That's actually a really good website. I should talk about that one day with you. Some of the stuff that I bought. Invaluable.com. First Dibs, which is usually more for art and stuff. But you can find some of these vintage charms. I love them. I have seen when I was younger. I should have bought them. I didn't. I was young and broke and, whatever. But sometimes I would go to before kids, of course, go, all shop and all over, just browsing in the Diamond District or in antique stores and whatnot. And by the way, I still do that, but I have to do it on my lunch break and shit. But, and I'd sometimes see them. And and they're they're the kind of thing that if you see it, you really got to buy it, because otherwise, I don't know. But they're hard to find. They're just hard to find. We don't have anything like that today. I wish we did. There's obvious people collect the Tiffany's charms and that kind of stuff for the bracelet. That was a thing, like 15 years ago. But what these are to me are so special. I love charms. I love these vintage charms. They're like chips. And once you get one, you have to have another one. Like, I would love to have charms for I have one now for my oldest daughter. I need to get one for my younger daughter. I like to do everything even, But they're just so pretty. Like, I would imagine that if you were, say you were like 30 years old in 1950, right? And the charms are popular. As you get older, you go into your jewelry box or whatever you have, your safe, whatever, as Italian people have, the bank. You go to the vault at the bank. And let me go, it's Christmas. I'm going to go to the vault at the bank and get my jewels out. But it's like, you go and you look at all these charms you have, and you have all these beautiful charms, just all these charms. Charms for New Year's Eve, charms for weddings, charms for anniversary. I think it's just so nice. Then you can pass them down to your kids. Oh, I love it. If you know where to get these charms, tell me. In fact, it's probably a good idea if somebody, wanted to bring them back. I feel like we would have a little bit of a market, no? I should probably talk to that guy who does the rosary beads, gave me the rosary beads. Maybe he could get into that business. Anyway. So, product. Okay, this is the product. I feel this is the product of the century, at least for me. A $5 HD setting powder. Do you know HD setting powder? Well, I'm sure you do. I have an HD setting powder by Makeup Forever that cost a fortune, like, I don't know, whatever, $50. And it's white, it's a white powder, and you put it over your makeup. And it's so you don't have the shine, and when you take pictures, your skin looks flawless and whatnot. I have another powder that I got also like this, Clos de Peau at Bergdorf's, and it's, I'm probably saying that name wrong because I have so much class. I think you spell it like CLE space DE space PEAU. I call it Clos de Peau. Maybe it's Clos de Peau. Maybe it's Clé de Peau. I could care less. I call it Clos de Peau because I got this powder, right? It's like $100. I got it because I was delusional. I was desperate, and I felt like I was shining in every single picture, and I was getting married, and I was like, I'm getting this. I still have it. But then I heard about this powder that Coty makes. Coty? Remember Coty? COTY? Yeah, that brand. Remember Coty lipsticks? They used to come in a beautiful gold metal thing. They always smelled like a grandma, speaking of grandmothers. Coty makes this powder. It's called Coty Air Spun Loose Powder. It's in the color translucent. You got to get it in the color translucent. $5 on Amazon. $5. I mean, you could get it at the drugstore too. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful powder. First of all, the packaging is nice. It comes in a big. It's not a to-go thing. It has to stay in your room. It's a big. It comes in a big, tub sort of thing, and it has a little grate on the top. You dip your brush, the grate, and you put it on your face. Let me tell. I am dead serious when I tell you this. I use this in my videos. I use this for pictures. I use this all the time. My shine goes away. I have such oily skin. You could crack a freaking egg on my skin. You can make a whole breakfast for $9 on my face. This powder is so good. I can't sing his praises. For $5.99, I'm never buying anything else. This is an exact dupe, in my opinion, of these other expensive powders that I have. I will never go back. Here's the best part. You go on Amazon, it's 24,000 reviews, 5 stars. That's right. Coty Air Spun Loose Powder. I completely recommend it. It is totally worth the purchase. Anywho, I wanted to tell you something. I want on a separate note, not powder related. I don't know why. Are you on TikTok and do you have an account and like whatever? I've stopped getting like my viewership for whatever reason stopped. My videos stopped showing up on the For You pages and whatever. I got into this TikTok creator fund like 6 months ago, which is great for people, I guess, that create a lot of content. But once I got into this fund, my stuff started going down. I have no idea why. Is this happening to you? It's actually a thing. If you Google it, TikTok Creator Fund. Once you get into this fund, your views start going down, and I think it's a little crazy. It's like they choke your views. Because they want to get a ton of people into the fund, and once you get into the fund, then they put an algorithm on that slows down the views. And so what then that winds up happening is it prohibits me from getting more and more followers. The way I could get more followers if people share my content, or if they repost my content or duet me, that kind of stuff with the sounds. So if you ever see anything that you like on TikTok and you want to repost, feel free. I would appreciate. I don't know what to do about this. It's really so frustrating. Also, when you do comment, and the other reason is when you do shows, stand-up shows, it's important to have a social following, of course, because these are your people who come to see you and buy your tickets and go and want to talk and hang out and hang out after the show and all that stuff. So the fact that my stuff is getting choked by an algorithm is frustrating to me. It's like, no, this is my job. What are you, crazy? Anyway, that's all I wanted to say about that. We're closing today out with a quote of the day, as usual. Dr. Seuss, one of my favoritos. Here it goes. You have brains in your head. You have feet in your shoes. You can steer yourself any direction you choose. Dr. Seuss. That's all for today's Elyse DeLucci show. As always, I thank you for listening. I appreciate you listening. You can listen to me on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can follow me on Instagram, on TikTok, as I always talk about. DM me. Let me know about the vintage charms if you know of any. I'm dying. Or, of course, I love to hear your grandma stories too about your nannies in Brooklyn and wherever. So, I hope you have a good week, and I will talk to you soon.